My name's Pelle and I'm the owner of Fuel United, and this is the story of how the gym got started and why it got started. When I was younger, maybe 19 years old, I'd been training for a few years since then in a bit of a smaller gym in our area, community gym. While being at that gym, I would research and I would look up different things to do with health and fitness and how to build bigger arms, bigger chest. And over time, I always seen myself a bit as the student learning from other people, older people. So just kind of do my thing until one day a member of that gym came up to me and asked me if I could make them a workout program. And that was kind of the first realization of, oh, this value or this collection of information I had accumulated and researched, it's valuable to somebody else. And maybe I have value to offer someone else. So I said yes, and I started to train this person. Eventually I made the brand Fuel United, which originally started actually as Fuel Fitness until I found out someone actually in our area had a similar name. So I changed it to Fuel United, which I liked much more as well because it didn't just lock me into the fitness component. It could be expanded beyond that. And the idea of being united through fitness was a much better concept to me as well. So then I started to train different people. All the training programs I was creating were through Google Sheets. So I would make these, or through Excel. So I'd make these programs through Google Sheets or Excel. They're very simple. And there's even one point when developing the brand where I made 250 t-shirts, got my logo put on it, and sold about 15 to 20 to family and friends, and pretty much gave away the rest. So the people who have those shirts, those are rare shirts, and that was the beginning of Fuel United. Eventually, I would see people come into the gym. I would see them be nervous. I would see them be self-conscious or uncomfortable, and I could resonate with that feeling. I was never the biggest guy or the strongest guy in the gym, so especially when I started, I was that nervous, self-conscious, and uncomfortable person walking the gym. And I felt like I had something to offer them. I felt like I had value to offer them, and I understood their perspective and the way they felt. So eventually, I created a kind of studio gym at my house in my garage that consisted of a squat rack, some barbells, some adjustable dumbbells. The floor was horse style rubber matting, and some benches, and pretty much just the basics where I would train people out of. So I would wake up early in the morning, train a few people, go to my day job, come home, train a few people, and go to bed. And I kind of would repeat that cycle. And yeah, simply train people in that environment, which I found they could be comfortable in. There wasn't a lot going on around them, and I could train them very effectively because I could communicate with them clearly without much distraction. So I did that for a few years, and that was the original beginning of Fuel United, the garage gym at my house. Stage 2 of creating Fuel United, which I would say is kind of the big beginning, the place where a lot of people know Fuel United from now today, came about a little bit differently. I was training for a number of years. A lot of the training I was doing was feeding my ego, a lot of vanity focused, but I was still researching, doing that kind of stuff. But a lot of ego lifting until the point where I ended up injuring my back pretty bad. So I ended up getting an MRI, and I had herniated a disc and bulged 2 discs, and basically couldn't lift weights and could hardly walk most days, or at least for a decent amount of time. So at that point, I kind of had to pull back. I stopped training. I was pretty depressed, and I would say pretty much at rock bottom. I really wasn't doing anything to do with the business. I was pretty much just trying to get through my day-to-day life. And on top of that, I was continuing to research ways to make myself better. I was told by doctors, physios, chiropractors that things probably wouldn't get much better, and they'd probably get worse, and that I would never deadlift or squat again without pain. Just to inform you guys, I squat and deadlift more than I ever have. I'm stronger than I ever have, and I don't have any pain. So they were wrong. From there, yeah, I had to pull back on training. I was doing research from everything from surgeries to stem cells to the more holistic approach of diet and meditation. I was trying to figure out ways to get back to training because I love to train, and I wasn't going to give up on that. So eventually I came across a group, or a Facebook page, I should say. It was actually on Instagram that I came across them. And this company has since changed directions and is taken a different approach, so I won't mention the name, but it was a group of individuals who were in much similar shoes that I was in. I was desperate, so I signed up for this group and their program, and through that program, it caused me to, or it forced me to pull back and go back to the basics and relearn a lot of the things that I had thought I had already known. So I had done this with a bunch of other people in this group, in this space, and everybody was kind of just going off of the information. There was a structure, but they were sharing things that were working for them and weren't working for them. So it wasn't a black and white approach that sometimes we get caught up in today, where people will stick to this group or stick to this group. It was things that worked through trial and error and through education. So educating yourself and then applying it. And yeah, everybody just kind of helped each other move forward, eventually to the point where I actually improved my situation and I was getting out of pain. So that took me 1.5 to 2 years before I was more or less out of the back pain that I had. Yeah, it was 1.5 to 2 years, which maybe that's not the case for everybody, but that's how long it took for me. Personally, in training, I've seen people progress much quicker and much slower. So that's what worked for me. Shortly after that, I was getting back into lifting weights. I was working a sales job for a company that I really enjoyed, the company, the people I worked with, but it just wasn't fulfilling me. I pretty much was hardly training at that point, but it was still in the back of my mind. One day, I drove down Industrial Street in our small town where I seen a shop space for sale. I kind of thought to myself, man, that might be cool for a gym. Didn't really think much on that until me and my wife, Nikki, had gone on vacation to Mexico, and we had discussed it further. Hey, is there potential here? What is it? Kind of discussed it and agreed that when we got back, we would go and check out that space. So when we got back, we went and checked out the space, seen what it was, and I seen potential in the space. Despite the skid steer in the center of the dirty concrete floor, I seen a space where I could potentially help other individuals who are in similar situation as myself. Maybe they're nervous and self-conscious getting into the gym, or they were injured and in a place of depression and desperation. I seen a space that I could create something where I could potentially help people. And not only that, but potentially create a business and a brand that was bigger than me and could financially support my family and help me to do things that I want to do with my life, or even just a space that's provided for other people with creative ideas that have some value to offer. So from there, we renovated the space you kind of see behind me to have a gym in it where I personal train now. We renovated the office upstairs where now we dream, we brainstorm, we create, we edit, and try and make something bigger than ourselves. The content that you're seeing here today will be created in that office. Next to that, created a space where I play drums and podcast, where we talk about things that are serious and some things that are just fun with people that I appreciate and that appreciate me, and we get to create something, again, that's bigger than ourselves that we get to give back to other people and simply just do things that we enjoy. So yeah, that is more or less the starting of Fuel United and the origins of where it came from my brain to kind of this space, from the other people I interact with to this space. The goal of Fuel United is to reach those people who are in similar shoes as myself, and to be that person that other people were to me. So this was all created from someone seeing value in me and believing in myself, creating something that was bigger than myself, that I felt I could give value and have purpose through. And the goal of it is to continue to do that, and we're just getting started with it.